every Wednesday for InFocus, a weekly talk show produced by the SKNIS Information Service, where we provide exclusives with key persons within the government and discuss pertinent, relevant, and interesting matters that affect us all. Tune in every Wednesday, live on ZIZ Radio and streamed live on Facebook at SKNIS Media and ZIZ Online. InFocus, your government, your business.
I'm Ian Richards. Welcome to InFocus, a weekly program where we zoom in on what's happening within and throughout the government, your government. Well, the Public Works Department is one of those agencies that touches, if not many, all of the government departments and the ministries. Now, today, joining us is Mr. George Gilbert, the Director of the Public Works Department, and Mr. Gilbert will be discussing several projects of national interest, including the reconstruction of the Bastia High School and the resurfacing of roads across communities in St. Kitts and Nevis. Stay with us as we delve into your government, your business. Thanks for staying with us. Allow me to welcome Mr. Gilbert to the program. Mr. Gilbert, it's good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're going to talk a bit about, as we say, public works and the important role that it carries out in national development in St. Kitts and Nevis. But before we begin, let's talk a bit about your role as the Director of Public Works Department. What exactly does that include?
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to be on this program this afternoon. As the Director of Public Works, my role is involved in the planning, the organizing, and directing the activities of the various divisions within the Public Works Department. I ensure that technical specifications and standards are actually met and carried out. In addition to that, I assist all or most of the ministries, departments with their projects, infrastructure related projects. And I am a key member of the procurement process.
Mr. Gilbert, you said the different divisions within Public Works. Tell us what those are.
Okay, within Public Works, we have a number of divisions. One, we have FMD, which is the Facilities Maintenance Division. With the Facilities Maintenance Division, that is where we actually undertake construction-related work, maintenance work for buildings, schools, hospital, health center, community center, all of government infrastructure buildings. Then we have VMD, Vehicle Maintenance Division. Now that division takes care of most of the government vehicles. They go there for servicing, for changing of tires, for general maintenance, some getting accident, and they take them there. When the ambulance is down at Public Works, mechanic they call, even on a Sunday, even on public holiday. Even during COVID, they had to come out without a pass to actually fix the ambulance. So the word was that when you're going, just say you're going to fix the ambulance and they will allow you to pass. So we have VMD. Then we have the road division, and the road division takes care of maintaining the roads. We have 2 engineers currently attached to the road division. So we actually execute projects such as the paving of concrete roads, which we manage, supervise, and we actually do other road work for the government. Then we have the quarry division. With the quarry, that's where the mining of aggregates being done, and with the mining of aggregates that provide the resource which is put into the concrete and also for building of houses and most infrastructure projects around the country. So without aggregate, there would be no construction development. So it means that the country will come to a halt without the quarry. So the quarry is an important element within the government. Then we have a sector here, a division here within Public Works, which might sound new to you or to many, is the Electrical Inspection Division. Now, whenever there is a new property, a new house being built, before you actually get your permanent connection, electrical connection, these inspectors will have to go out and pass your building, and then SKNIS will actually install the permanent meter.
So you're talking specifically about individuals building their homes?
Yes, individuals.
So the scope of Public Works has expanded to include private in a sense too, although they still have the responsibility because they work with SKNIS, but it's not just a government building. You're saying it's any building? Any
building for that matter. So we actually, SKNIS will send a list. You will apply to SKNIS for your permanent connection after your house is completed, and SKNIS will now send the list of names and the addresses, and then now the guys from Public Works now will go out and actually inspect your house, make sure that 110 coming in where it should be, 220 coming in, the light is where it's supposed to be and coming on, etc., etc., and then they will give the approval to SKNIS, who will now in turn install the permanent meter.
When was this division created?
Maybe about 8 years ago or so. About 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
But most persons haven't heard of it, as you mentioned.
No,
right?
Most persons. Because what they're trying to do, instead of SKNIS doing their own evaluation, there's an independent, which is the government, mainstream government will do the evaluation. Then we have the admin division, where I sit. That's where the engineers, the architects, the administrators, the secretaries, etc., they actually occupy that space there. Then we also have a lab section in Public Works. Now with the lab, it is a soil lab. We do testing of aggregate. Now in a number of cases when we build homes, what tends to happen sometimes is that we have the floor sink. So what we do is that we provide a service. You can get the service privately too, where we actually test the soil, test the bearing capacity of the soil before you cast the floor slab. We approve it, we give you a certificate, and also we test concrete also, we test the asphalt also. So we actually interface with the public and we do this work for the government too. So we do it independently and we actually provide the service to other institutions or private individuals.
And that would be a paid service?
A paid service, of course, yes. That's basically the activities of Public Works.
All right, so before we get into the roads and the reconstruction of the Basse High School, I am aware that Public Works, of course, is celebrating Public Works Day. Tell us a bit about Public Works Day.
Yes, Public Works Day. Worldwide, there is what is known as the Public Works Day. And for this day, it is dubbed, for this day, it is, the theme for this day is connecting the world through public works. How do we connect the world through public works? Is that we do it through infrastructure. We build roads, we build bridges, we maintain roads, we maintain bridges. Also, in connecting the world through public work, we actually maintain the hospitals, community centers. So without this kind of interaction and interfacing, it means that there would be no roads to traverse on, no you and me to go to the hospital, etc., no community center. So we actually, and for this day, we have a week of activities and we take the time out during this week, Public Works Week of Activities, to have a day when we come together to socialize. What tends to happen is that the road division is about over a mile away from the main building. The quarry is further away, and then you realize everybody out there into their own fair doing their work. So some people over there don't know the people over here, so it's an opportunity for us to come together to know each other and to mingle.
And that's on the actual day itself?
That's on, no, not on the actual day, during the week.
During the week. Okay, so what day is Public Works Day?
I'm not so sure what day, but we celebrated a whole week of activities.
Okay.
And what tends to happen is that every May we have Public Works week of activities, so we take the opportunity to celebrate it inside there.
Okay. So essentially it's basically ensuring that to not just build the morale of staff and to help to promote camaraderie, but essentially also to let the public know how important public work is.
To bring an awareness to the public, that is correct.
Okay. So tell us a bit about some of the activities. You mentioned that there's a social function. What else is there to engage the public?
Okay, today is Wednesday. Could I back up and say what went before? Okay, on Sunday, we went to a church service. We had a number of, I was surprised for the number of persons who turned out to the church service. And then on Monday now was community activity, a give back day. There are some persons who would have worked public works many years ago and they're at home. So what we do is that we actually ask the staff to bring dry goods, corned beef, tuna, Vienna sausage, cornflakes, etc., etc. And we made some packages and we took them to these individuals within the from public work. So what we try to do, identify at least one person from each division, and we actually went out and gave them the food package. Then Tuesday now, we have had a staff exchange where Nevis Public Work sent down some of their mechanics, some guys from FMD, the facilities maintenance, and they actually came while our guys went over to Nevis, and they actually not just went to see what is happening, they went to work. Because I met the guys who came to VMD, the mechanic division, and they told me that yes, as soon as we came, they put us on an ambulance. We started working on the ambulance, and they were impressed to be working on some of the things. And even the guy from our mechanic shop said one of the issues they had with something, the guy was able to sort it out. So the interchange and the interaction, it was very good, very good. I must commend the Director of Public Works in Nevis for allowing us the opportunity to interact with their staff. Then today, Thursday, is
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Right.
We have the Director of Public Works, who is here on InFocus.
Right.
And then this afternoon, this evening, we'll have a movie night. We're not going to go to the general movie. We're having a movie at Public Works.
Okay.
Then on Thursday now is our Health and Wellness Day, where, you know, most of the workers at Public Works are male. And you know, generally male don't like to go doctor. Males are impatient. They can't sit and wait in the doctor's office for a checkup. So the doctors will be coming to us. So Thursday, doctors will be coming there, doctors and nurses, and they will do the examination there and then. So we encourage all the staff to come out and get their checkup free of cost. Also, in the afternoon at 4:30 now, we'll have the health walk now. So we'll do a health walk. I think it's somewhere around Bastille. We'll do the health walk on that day. Then on Friday now, Public Work is known. I spoke to a lawyer recently, as in 2 weeks ago, and he said to me that everything happened in the country, they call Public Works to fix it. So if somebody has excess, an institution has excess, let's say even chairs, old chairs, they want to dispose of, call Public Works to get rid of them. They have some old desks they have work to take up, call Public Works to do that. So everything they call Public Works. So we go and clean for everybody. Now, Friday will be the day to clean for ourselves. So what we are going to do, each division, the staff will come out and they will actually clean their division. So the secretaries and the other office clerk who work on the inside, they will clean their spaces. Now, those who work on the outside will also clean their spaces. So all the divisions will clean, and then at the end they will come, they will have their little eat when they finish around 12. And then in the afternoon now, we're going to have some loud music, they call it, and fun and games at the main office. So all will come there and congregate, and then they're able to interact with each other there.
Can the public join as well, or is it just for Public Works staff?
No, the public can come and join us. And Saturday now will be our fun day, we will go to Connery Playfield for Sports Day. Now we'll have bouncing castle, so the public can bring their children and interact with us. So we are family. We not only think about the individual come and give their service, we think about their children too. The children is a part of us to come and enjoy and interact. So we have bouncing castle, and we encourage them to bring their children out at the bouncing castle, children and grandchildren.
Right, of course. Well, that sounds very exciting, Mr. Gilbert. And I have to tell you, I like the fact that the focus on the health, because as you mentioned, men, sometimes we don't necessarily take the best care of ourselves while they're taking care of the nation and the infrastructure.
Yes, that's correct.
So I think it's very important, and I certainly would like to commend you about that.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to talk a bit about roads, but we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get right into that topic.
No problem.
Stay with us. We'll be right back for more In Focus.
If you haven't done it as yet, please do it today. Subscribe to our YouTube page at SKNIS Media for regular updates, live coverage, and even more information on your government. While you're at it, like, share, and interact with our Facebook and Instagram pages at SKNIS Media and SKNIS Info.
Welcome back to In Focus. We continue our conversation with Mr. George Gilbert, the Director of Public Works. Mr. Gilbert, roads. It's a topic that everyone loves to talk about. Sure. It's something that dominates a lot of the conversations, both on air and also in private quarters. Tell us a bit about, first of all, the Island Main Road Resurfacing Project. Where are we with that?
The Island Main Road Resurfacing Project, it is substantially completed. Substantially completed means it can be used. Now, so what we are doing, we are identifying the snags in the project. We are identifying the defects in the project, and then the contractor will be given the full list, and then he will go and actually repair and fix those defects in the road.
So could you give us a sense of like what some of those defects are?
Some of those defects are, we saw some cracks developing, some sink developing in the road. So what he will have to do is to cut those areas out, examine the base, and then repair it and fix it.
And that will be done at no cost to government?
At no cost to the government. Right. Those are his defects.
Okay. And very importantly as well, too, the road markings, the white lines that separate the roads from the left to the right. And then also cat size, the reflectors that we see in the roads. Those are some of the things that are very important to promote safety. Let's talk a bit about the cat size in particular, because we would have seen that, they would have been placed around the island, and I must say that they really did a good job in terms of helping persons to understand where the boundaries are in terms of staying within their lanes. But of course, there's a problem where some of them are missing. The question is then that what can be done about that? So a suggestion was made that maybe they should be in the center of the road along the white line, or as opposed to having them on each side. What can you say about that, and how we can really make the roads safer by ensuring that the cat size, the investments that are being made there, can be protected?
Very good question. The cat eye, we actually, the consultants specify a certain cat eye, and the cat eye came with an adhesive to stick it down to the road. Now, when the contractor actually stuck it to the road, when certain trucks actually drag on them, they actually not only tore the cat eye out of place, they actually tore the concrete which the cat eye is stuck into out of place too. So you will see a depression in the asphalt where it actually tore the asphalt out too. So there seem to be there going to be some ongoing maintenance to the cat eye there. But one is offering us another type of cat eye, which we are looking at currently. It's a solar type which they use in the States and other places. We are looking at that also. But as I said, I mean, the cat eye, they keep coming up when these heavy trucks which are loaded actually drag on them. They actually burn them out of the asphalt.
So you're going to still, the recommended design of terms of having them on each side of the white line, that basically that design will still be maintained, or are you looking to maybe have them in the center of the road themselves, on the white line?
We're still trying to, as an international standard, have them on the side of the white line.
Right. Okay. And also, I know that a part of the project also included some road widenings in some areas, some sidewalk insulation in some areas. Have all of those been completed?
Most of what under the contract, yes, they have been completed, but we have asked the contractor to do some additional ones. Those are not quite completed yet, but under the contract, yes, all of those are completed.
Okay. And then, of course, there is the issue of the road at St. Peter's, which is not a part of the Island Main Road, also it was explained. Tell us a bit about that. Give us an update there.
Yes, with the St. Peter's Road, which is becoming a topic, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to upgrade the St. Peter's Road. In the estimate for 2023, it is listed as a project, a capital project. It is the rehabilitation of the St. Peter's Main Road and F.T. Williams Highway East. So it means the project will start from, let's say, the airport roundabout, traverse by Gillard, go on by the Shadwell roundabout, go up to the airport gate, and then you go up New Road, you traverse that same road, you pass the playfield, and then you go up to Orges until you reach to the gut right there. That's where it will end. Now, this project, we envisage to have sidewalks where possible. We are planning to have upgrade the drainage system along the roadway. We actually will improve the, road crossing. We are going to mark the road also. We're going to put cat-eye in the road the same way too, that's what I explained on the Island Main Road. These are some of the activities. Now we intend to, in the road widening, where possible, we'll have road widening. We know that in some areas, the properties are very close to the road, that makes the road narrow. We are going to negotiate with those homeowners to see if we can get a little easement so we can have the road to the maximum width and move ahead with the road. That's the objective of the road. Then we rehabilitate the main surface.
Is there a timeline for when the work will begin?
What we currently, the document being finalized. It's already been reviewed. We are trying to put it together to print, and we have it going out to tender by the first week of next month. It should be out for tender.
Right. So there's some good news for persons who live in that area and have to traverse the roads. But then also, there's a challenge with the side roads as well to it in those communities.
Okay. With the side roads would not be a part of this contract. So the side work will be done under recurrent. Will be done under public work. So what we do, we will upgrade the side road. The side road is on our list to be done. So the side road should start as soon as possible. And then when the side roads are finished, no relationship, but the side roads will be done as part of our general maintenance. And then the Island Main Road will be a major capital project.
Right, so just to ensure that the public understand, there are two separate projects. The side roads basically can be done at any time. It doesn't have to. It doesn't depend on the start of the resurfacing of the main road at St. Peter's.
That's correct.
Right, that certainly is very good news as well. So
yeah, because you've been calling me about your road.
That is correct. That is correct.
That will be addressed to.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that. And so of course we know that there was an issue with the asphalt machine. The minister responsible for public works, that would be the Honorable Congress Maynard, spoke about that. And of course there were some new partnerships that were created. But before we get there, talk to us about the issue with the asphalt machine. Has it been repaired?
Yes, it has been repaired, but it needs calibrating. It needs setting. And we don't have no specialists here in the region to do that. So the specialists will have to come in from ADM. That's the company which actually makes the asphalt plant. We actually made contact with them. We made contact with our counterparts in Nevis too. They said the machine needs calibrating too. So we actually had a conversation with the company. The company agreed to send a personnel here to calibrate both machines, which was done already. So the person is supposed to come, but as usual, they said they need the money up front. So as soon as they get the money, they will actually set a time for the person to come, the specialist to come and calibrate the machine and then actually give us a certificate.
So in the meantime, you said AMD, where are they based?
In the States.
Okay, in the United States, okay. So in the meantime, work on the section of the roads, like the side roads, that can't be done, essentially.
What we are doing minor work, like patchwork, etc. Because what happens is that if you're going to do a whole road, you want the specification to be exact. But so what we are doing in the meanwhile is some patchwork, you know, patching the holes here and there.
And of course, well, you mentioned that the asphalt machine in Nevis was down, but there was some collaborations that were done between Nevis as well too. While the asphalt machine here was down, can you talk to us about how that came about?
With the collaboration, we have a good relationship with Public Works in Nevis. I must start that way. And we must commend our partners in Nevis for the relationship, good relationship. And what happened is that our plant was down and we had some major work to do. And we actually get in contact with the permanent secretary in Nevis, and he agreed to actually get us the asphalt at a price, at a minimal price, and also to send some workmen over to assist us. So they actually came with their equipment, and they came over and they actually worked with us on a road here in St. Kitts.
Can we expect to see more collaboration between St. Kitts and Nevis Public Works Department?
Yes, we expect to see more. We have more collaboration going on, you know, in the procurement system, but it's not been heard of per se, you know, because we don't shout.
Right. Okay. There are two roads in particular that were recently resurfaced. Market Street comes to mind, and of course Pratt Street. Now, there was a bit of a discussion on social media about the proper spelling and pronunciation of Spratt Street. Tell me, does that fall within the scope of Public Works as well, too, in terms of naming the streets and having them properly labeled?
No. That is more or less with sustainable development and I think the post office.
Okay.
Those two.
So there's no collaboration between Public Works and the two departments?
Well, yes, we actually collaborate with them, but when it comes to the naming of the street, what name is given, Public Works don't really get too involved in that aspect there. The sustainable development and the post office will deal with that.
Okay. And then what about the road markings themselves now? Because, of course, having the roads paved certainly is nice, but then the markings, as I said, have there to help to promote safety. What can you tell us about that?
The marking is frustrating you mean?
No, well, the roads, yeah, in terms of, yes.
What happened is that after the road has been paved, we have to wait for it to oxidize in terms of dry out then. And then after that, we go in and get the marking done.
Okay. Now, as we speak about roads, of course, Mr. Gilbert, traffic lights, or signal lights as they are called, they help to control the flow of traffic. And, of course, we've had the installation of, or the operational of phase 2 of the lights. Is the second phase complete?
Yes, second phase is complete.
Right. And how has that been functioning?
In my mind, that is functioning well because one property owner, we had them delay in turning on one of the lights, and we actually met with the property owner a few times, and we had some discussion, and we made some adjustment to the road work, to the light infrastructure, and I haven't heard any complaint. So I think that it is working okay.
Are there any official plans to do an evaluation? I know that basically you have to do a count, a traffic count,
yes, traffic count,
to see how they're functioning, because of course there are concerns. One of the concerns that were raised when they were being installed was how close they are to each other. The Bay Road comes to mind for a lot of persons. Any evaluation that will be officially be done there?
An evaluation will be done, yes, an evaluation will be done.
The schedule, is there a timeline for that?
There's no schedule as yet. What we are trying to do at this stage, we are trying to send an officer from Public Works overseas for training in the monitoring, adjusting of these lights. So in case there is an incident or accident, he can stand in the court and actually be an expert witness.
Right. Okay, Mr. Gilbert, we'll move on to the Basseterre High School, but first we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back with more In Focus.
If you haven't done it as yet, please do it today. Subscribe to our YouTube page at SKNIS Media for regular updates, live coverage, and even more information on your government. While you're at it, like, share, and interact with our Facebook and Instagram pages at SKNIS Media and SKNIS Info.
Welcome back to InFocus. We continue our conversation with George Gilbert, the Director of Public Works Department here in St. Kitts, as they celebrate a week of activities. Mr. Gilbert, now, of course, earlier we went through the divisions of public works, and you mentioned that there is a division that deals with building maintenance. Of course, maintenance is something that is very important. Talk to us a bit about how that is done, how public works goes about in maintaining buildings and their schedule.
Okay. Education has a technical team, which they actually divide them up into sections. So one officer would be responsible for one section of the island, next would be responsible for another, etc., etc. In addition to that now, those officers will actually interact with the teachers of the school, and they would identify the concerns. And then the third Tuesday in every month, they will have a general meeting. Those technical officers will have a general meeting with the management of FMD, Facilities Maintenance Division in Public Work, and they will actually identify the issues, prioritize the issues, and say, we're going forward for this month, these are what we want to see done. In Tabernacle, in Edgar T. Morris School, we want to see this, that, and that done. In the primary school, we want to see the door, headmaster's door, the tiling in this classroom, etc., etc. And they will prioritize, and then they will now move ahead to try to accomplish these tasks. Now, when they meet the other month, now they review as to what was done and what wasn't done and why they were not done, and see how best they could actually make adjustment. In addition to just the monthly meeting, there were ongoing interaction with Public Works in terms of the work. And we get work orders from education, because education is a peculiar institution where you have children toilets, and most of our plumbers are male. I think all of our plumbers are male, and really and truly we don't want them to go in the bathroom, female bathroom, during working hours. So they ask for a lot of overtime, like on the weekend, for them to go in and fix bathroom for these children in particular. And some work again need to be done after working out, because the pounding and the dust noise, so they go in and things. So there's a very good relationship with the Ministry of Education in terms of that maintenance program.
So an opportunity for female plumbers, anyone out there who may be seeking employment, they could probably speak to Public Works and see whether they can join or maybe be contracted.
I agree with you, So they just need to come, right, and we have a conversation.
So that's in relation to the educational part of it, but of course there are other government buildings in terms of the responsibilities that FMD would have. Yes, tell us a bit about that.
With the other government buildings, now Public Works, we actually get calls from the other ministries to say that the door is not closing properly, and we will actually send a team there. Some institutions call and say that the septic system is not working. When they flush the toilet, it is backing up. We send a team there. This team will go and will remove the toilet and flush or whatever, get the authorities to come in and to clear the septic, and they look at the lines and have to make adjustment to the line. Just recently, I think a school was closed because of the septic system, and Public Works got the specialists to come in and pump, and then they had to go down and look at the piping to see what was the problem, and then they recognized that the pipe was in the right position. They had to go and actually excavate the ground, remove the pipe, and put new pipes in place, you know. And so all of these things they do, and these again got to be done when the children are not there too, because it gives a foul scent during the period too. So we actually work for the other ministries. The roofs are leaking, we go in and we actually have to tender. If it is over what we can do in-house, we have to tender to get a contractor to actually go and fix the roof.
Right. And in terms of the sporting facilities, does Public Works have a role to play as well?
Yes, the same thing. Like, for example, before I came here, just before I came here, I got a call from a permanent secretary, said that they got the approval Public Works went in and did an evaluation on a sporting facility. They send the costing to the ministry. Now the ministry called and said that now the money being approved, and they want to know how soon Public Works can go in and start to do the repairs. So now we have to look at our schedule and see how we can fit it into our schedule and give them a time as to when it's best for us to come in and start the work.
And Public Works not only carries out the work itself at times, but it also supervises as well too.
That's correct.
So let's move to the Irishtown Primary School. What can you tell us there?
With the Irishtown Primary School, we are involved. There is what we call structural distress in 3 floors of the upstairs building. When I say structural distress, there was some deflection in the floor slab. Floor slab had
deflection meaning?
Meaning that it is kind of sink.
Okay.
And so what we had to do, we evaluated it. We actually came up with a design, and we actually had to go to tender, and we actually send the tender report to the tender board. They agreed with our recommendation, and then we actually engaged a contractor to actually undertake the work. Currently, we have a contractor there on site, Ali's Construction, and he's actually addressing the distress floor slabs. So he is about 50–55% completed, and he has, I think, 1 more beam to put in place, and then he has some finishing work to do there. That's what we are doing down there.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the discovery of these issues, a question that someone may ask is that, why did it take so long to discover?
Because what happened is that, as you realize, that deflection, it might deflect overnight. It might deflect over a period of time. So then it's like you go down there today and you look at it, and you might see a small deflection, but you have to go back again after a period and look at it again and see if the deflection really move. And if it really move, then it means you have to find a solution to address the problem. And then when you find the solution to address the problem, you will develop a scope of work, what to be done, what we think is the best method, and then from that, we now have to cost it, and then submit the cost to the line ministry and say, hey, this is beyond our budget, we can't do it as a maintenance, we would like you to actually assist with the funding for it. The line ministry might have to go to the Ministry of Finance and convince the Ministry of Finance that this is a critical project and we want to get it going, depending on finance ability. Then they might say leave it for if it's not critical, leave it for next financial year. Then next financial year they might say proceed with it. Then we have to send it out to tender. If it is over $400,000, it's going to be in the newspaper for 6 weeks, and then we have to wait for the 6 weeks before everything.
And then in terms of the timeline for Irishtown Primary to be open, is there, do you have a sense of that?
No, what we at Public Works is really working on or involving at Irishtown is the distressed classrooms. The upstairs, that's what we are dealing with. The other aspect, we are not really involved in that.
Right, that would be information that will come from the Ministry of Education.
Ministry of Education directly.
Right, and so sticking within the schools now, of course, there's the Joshua Obadiah Williams. Any update that you can provide there?
Yes, with the Joshua Obadiah Williams, we are getting ready to go to tender with that project. That project, initially when the school caught fire, our intention was just to rehab it as is, put it back as is, really take off the roof, clean up, new windows, new doors, and have it going in short order. But the school, the Ministry of Education, they said no. That school is the oldest school in the Federation and is not meeting the standard of a modern school. So what they want to do is to take the opportunity to upgrade the school. So now they want the school to have, let's say, 2 doors for each classroom, electrical in the classrooms, because this classroom had no electricity but the lights alone in the roof. So they want the classrooms to be, electrical. They want them to reflect a modern school. They had, Molyneux don't have a community center. You don't have a general hall where you can congregate. So whenever there is a community activity, it will be done in the school. So by the time, and the school had a hall. So and this hall was used for classroom. So whenever the children come back the next day, they have to now get the partition withdrawn. They have to now set out the chairs and desks, and it might take almost a good portion of the morning. Same thing too if they get a guest speaker. Same thing, they have to push the partition back. The speaker might be there for even less than 20 minutes. When they leave, the school has to think, and then by the time you finish at lunchtime, nothing happened for the whole day. So they're saying they want a hall, but not to be used as classrooms. And if the public wants to use it, that's fine, but it means that the next day they can come and go right into class session and move ahead. So we had to do some addition to the school, upgrade to the school, increase the kindergarten size, and we have done a number of work when it comes to the design. We did some preliminary design. We met with the education department, the management, and also the staff, the senior staff at the school. We had a discussion. They looked at our plan. They made some input, and then we go back to the drawing board. We made the adjustments. We came back to another meeting with them. The ministers were there. The Minister from Education, Minister from Public Infrastructure were there. And we discussed again, and then we move ahead. After we agreed on the design, then we move ahead with the working drawings. We are about 98% completed with the working drawings, and we are actually about the same, 98 with the bill of quantities. So that's where we are with that. We want to roll out that by the second week in next month. That should be out for tender also. So the public contractors, you can take note that by the second week of next month, the Joshua Obadiah School will be out for tender.
And we move from primary schools to high school, the Bastia High School.
Yes.
Update us there.
The Bastia High School. In the estimate for 2023, they have New Bastia High School. Now, the Ministry of Education has to lead on the Bastia High School to say exactly what they are looking for, how many classrooms they are looking for, how many labs, etc., etc. Now, so the first phase of the Bastia High School is the demolition. So they have come to us and asked us that they want us to demolish the school, the buildings. So we divide the project into two parts, Eastern Campus and the Western Campus. So we have a tender document done for the Eastern Campus and one done for the Western Campus. So it means that you can tender on the Eastern Campus only, likewise on the Western. Now, what the contractor would be expected to do, the successful contractor, it would be expected to demolish the buildings, separate the material, because that's solid waste and they need the material to be separated, separate the material, and then transport the debris, the waste, to the landfill. Then they will actually, in the footprint of the building, to remove the soil there about 4 feet down, take that to the landfill, and then we have identified an area where they can get fill from to actually fill those holes and compact those holes. That's part of the process. They will be paying for that. Now, the tenders are out for that at the moment. There will be a pre-bid meeting, with all the persons who have expressed an interest tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock at Public Works. So those bidders who have collected the documents, please be reminded that the meeting is at 9 o'clock at Public Works tomorrow. So at the meeting, we'll actually explain the same way to you, just what I explained, what will be done. They have the document. Those who actually express an interest would have actually bought the document. So they had an opportunity to review the document, and then they will come now and we'll explain to them exactly what is expected of them. They will now remove from Public Works and go over to the site and show them exactly physically what to be done. And they can take the opportunity to go back in their own time to look at the project again and then price the document, and then we have a return date for the document. The return date is the 27th of June, and then when they return the document, we'll open the document publicly, so all the bidders who are there, the representative, even the media, can be there and they actually hear the prices read out and other pertinent information, whether public document, public information.
Why is tendering so important to good governance?
Tendering because it's actually, you get best value for the government's money. So, and one of the things I keep emphasizing, that it is the people's money. And you cannot just go to company A and give them all the business like that. What happened to company B who paying taxes? You know, so then you have to let it be transparent that, I mean, you have invited company A, B, and C to give you a price for this, and then you evaluate the price and the quality, and then you make a determination as to which one you're going to go with.
And of course, the contractors, having it spread around, they will subcontract other persons to help the money to, reach a lot further in terms of generating economic activity for different companies and different persons.
That is correct, because any company which gets the job, a company which actually gets the job at Basse High School, they have to buy excessive fuel, they have to pay the landfill, they have to pay truckers, they have to pay other heavy equipment operators to assist in the whole process. So there will be a number of persons and will be engaged in the whole process, and as I said, a number of people will be employed.
Mr. Gilbert, we'll have to leave it there as we are a bit out of time for the program today. So thank you very much for coming in, and certainly we would like to hear a lot more about Basse High School when the tenders are complete and the work actually gets going. I'm sure, well, not I'm sure, I know that there are a lot of persons who are eager and excited to see the project get going. I myself am an alumni of the school, and so definitely will be something that we look forward to. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you very much, too.
And thank you to our viewers and listeners for joining us for this edition of InFocus. I'm Ian Richards. Be sure to join us next week at the same time, at the same place.
Join us every Wednesday for InFocus, a weekly talk show produced by the SKNIS Information Service, where we provide exclusives with key persons within the government and discuss pertinent, relevant, and interesting matters that affect us all. Tune in every Wednesday, live on ZIZ Radio and streamed live on Facebook at SKNIS Media and ZIZ Online. InFocus, your government, your business.